Doya serigata prodroko sha serigata prodraka sha sirigate prodroko. Doya serigata prodroko. Ya serigata prodroko. Bushi sirigate prodroko. Greetings, fam. How's it going? We give thanks. I was just giving thanks before I turned the camera on for seasons, cleansing seasons. Ooh. Shout out to all the healers that align with the full moon. Intense, yeah. Intense, yeah. It's been intense. It's been so intense. But anyway, here we are. Here we are. And I'm just so grateful for the cleansing rain, for clean water, clean air, divine purpose, divine alignment, divine guidance. I really felt the nudge to just like take a moment, and maybe you'll feel this nudge too, to like take a moment in your quiet space and first of all, give reverence for the divine leadership, knowing that we're surrounded by a divine team. It was triple ones when I just looked up. Divine reverence, like reverence for the divine guidance by our divine team, and just knowing that we're not in this thing alone, even when it feels like it, and even though we cannot see with our eyes, like how much we're surrounded and being led and provided for. And I was just being reminded of that passage, that story about Elijah and Elisha, where like there was like the mentor and then his student, and his student was fearful because they appeared to be surrounded by their enemy in this physical 3D. And then the mentor was like, show him what's up, you know, in the spirit. And then his eyes were open to see like the leagues of angels, like the gang of angels that was surrounding them in the spirit. And like there were far more with them, like for them, than any that was against them. And not that, I don't know, I don't really get caught up in the whole like, ooh, you know, the good and the bad, but like there is still a lot of pollution to transmute, and the pollution causes people to be misled, and therefore like or the pollution continues to perpetuate wounding, which then perpetuates more wounding. And so it's so crucial that we as individuals become aware and keep our awareness on the divine team that surrounds us, and not get caught up in the systems of man or the fear of like appearing to be corrupt systems, because we know through quantum physics and also through the word. So it doesn't matter which school of thought you're attuned to, the point is it is finished. And so we know that there's a reality that we can attune to, where we can rise above every single limiting thing, and that our divine team can guide us around those who refuse to do the work of healing, or those who refuse to do the work of, what did I just say? Healing. Do the work of healing, do the work of taking up their cross. Like that's what it's called biblically. To step into that divine lifestyle. And if we are not careful, we will be so, oh man, I had no idea I was going to come on and say all this. Okay, let it be so. So one thing that we can learn from reading the word, reading the Bible, is like, so if you are somebody who subscribes to Christianity, what we saw in that story, while Yeshua was there walking it out, what we saw was the Jews missing it when he was right there in front of them. And in the same way, the way that what I see when I read that whole thing, and then when I look at what we're doing here now, when we know that time is not linear but spherical, and that's why it's written that there's no new thing under the sun. So everything that we're experiencing and living through now is a version of what was already lived through then, and there's still a version of it being played out here and now. But there also is the reality that, man, I can't believe this is the word. Yes, I can, but it's just like, I had no idea we were going to get into all this. There's also the reality of the it is finished, the tetelestai, paid in full. And what we know about this is that in time, there's like in the what would be like the new age like thing, we and it's really new age, people called Yeshua new age. That's what they were pissed about him. You know, the Jews were like, you're of Satan because you can do all this stuff, because he was tapping into a dispensation, into a level that nobody else had tapped into yet in that era. And they're called dispensations, which is like eras of time, eras of revelation. We know that who was it? Noah. Was it Noah? Yeah. Noah tapped into the dispensation of grace. Noah and his family, the ones with Noah's ark, and it says he saw and he found grace. He found grace in the eyes of the Creator. He found grace. He tapped into the dispensation of grace when it wasn't even technically released yet in that era of revelation, because it had not played out on the linear timeline that we perceive history to take. This is high level stuff to try and download. But it says Noah found grace because he was searching. Another scripture says, like, it's of God to have mysteries, and it's of kings and priests to search them out. So he took it upon himself. And by the way, anyone can choose to be that. Anybody can choose to go after the mystery. Noah pursued the mystery, so therefore he found grace in the eyes of the Creator. Even though the dispensation of grace was what was released in the era of Yeshua. So, you know, sometimes what I'm doing is I'm speaking according to a certain belief system, but I'm also speaking from the revelation that has been kind of either not released or withheld in that system. And it's very hard to try and bridge the gap between the two, because sometimes I'm speaking according to my original teaching language, but I also refuse to deny what the Spirit has revealed through the expansive seeking of the mystery that I've gone through in my own journey. So there's that. By the way, I've been feeling the nudge lately just to go through, like, I just find myself like releasing the model prayer, which some people call the Lord's Prayer. It was like, and by the way, this was one of those big pro tip moments where I was like, wait a minute. Like, if you look at the model prayer, 828, as I look up, Yeshua was like, everything he said was with a period at the end. There was no question marks. There were no requests. They were statements. They were declarations. They were like order ups. I call it like order up, you know, when you know who you are and you understand what it means to have dominion. You don't request, you place orders and you give instructions to the quantum field. So he was giving instructions in awareness of who he was, in awareness who the Creator was, with awareness of the good intention of the Creator for those of us that are here walking this out on the earth plane. And that reminds me, by the way, two things. There was a quantum download that I scribed on something about, it was on the 1111 portal. So go check that out. And then second, there was a divine identity activation, and there's something in that video where so I wrote it down and I just like downloaded it, and I've listened to it over and over and over again because it's a message for me just as much as it is a message for you. So like I'm listening and I'm like learning from it, and I'm like studying the download and like being taught by the download. But there was something I said there where I accidentally said plain instead of another word, and it was not an accident. So if you didn't catch that, go back and listen again and listen to that where I accidentally said plain instead of the other word. I want to say it's about 3/4 of the way through it. But I invite you to study that if it resonates with you. And I think that there's like nuggets in there for us to take. And like, it's probably more than it appears on the surface. It felt very wordy when I was writing it, but I think it's full of revelation. So I invite you to do that. Now back to this. The Lord's Prayer is like order ups, and they're declarations, and they're also things that allow our divine team to act on our behalf. And it also has the awareness that like, it's like, lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from, you know, the wounded that are the wounded that are the wounded kind of thing around here. And so it's important to cover your day every day. I think that just hitting those bullet points, like if Yeshua said to do it, then we should be doing that. What it boils down to a lot of the time is like how much from what's being taught through that belief system that's been compromised by the flawed intentions of man. So that's really what it's about, is like ever dividing it and being guided by the spirit within you. And I'm talking spirit with a capital S, not just like by your feelings. And then being prepared to be like, have that all disapproved by the majority in the belief system who don't understand yet the flaws and can't sense them for themselves, but to stand tall in the knowledge of what you're being taught, while also maintaining the values system of the spirit, which is the fruits of the spirit. Okay, so let's see what else wants to come through, if anything, through these cards. Wow, we give thanks for the revelation. Man, just so you know, just so you know, all of hell came up against me being here doing this right here, right now, trying to drink nature's water. You cannot make this up. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is like downpour raining, and it has been for like a couple days. Oh, I'm having a whole moment right now about this. Woo. Come like a flame of fire, a mighty rushing wind, in the heavens, come fall afresh again. Come like a flame of fire, a mighty rushing wind, our prayers will rend the heaven, come fall afresh again. The reason that I was having a whole moment is because nature's water, like, is not just water as in H2O, but it's also like the spirit that nourishes our being, that washes away the pollution energetically, that it's like the elixir of heaven that neutralizes every pollutant and every and heals every wound. Like, it just comes in and it's like the automatic make it right, you know, like it's the automatic make it right. It's the automatic like alignment. It allows you to be able to see clearly. And the more in alignment and in tune we are with that, the more that everything will just continue to remain shalom, nothing missing, nothing broken. Accumulation starts now. It's like, I don't know if you can tell, but like that's the only one that's turned over here. Accumulation starts now. Drink nature's water. Are you serious? Of shalom, nothing missing, nothing broken. I think there might be another H in that word before the M. I'm not sure. Forgive me that I don't know Hebrew perfectly. Ladybug. That was also turned over in the pile. Ladybug, ladybug, ladybug. They're known for like being like symbols of good fortune, of good luck. Maybe you'll see one in your day. I would be surprised that depending on where you are in the world and when this finds you. By the way, this is a timeless message, so you don't have to be concerned about if you're catching it right when I am releasing it, because releasing, because it's timeless. So maybe you will see it, Ladybug, by the time you see this message. Is there anything in here? I felt like drawn to this deck before I even got started, so I think that there is a card. Which one? Okay, I'm doing both of those. Wow, of course it is. Of course it is. Grounding and create. Of course it is. Grounding. You're being asked to ground yourself. You've been spending too much time in your head, and it's time to pay attention to your body and to the earth. Go outside, plant your feet on the ground, and enjoy the centering feeling that this feels, or that this brings. And for those of us who are in the middle of like winter season, another way to ground is to like take a bath and soak in being surrounded by the element of water. Drink nature's water. Also like touching your palms on a tree trunk, or even just watching flames of fire can be really, really centering. And then create. You're being asked to connect with your creative side in whatever way feels best. This part of you needs extra attention right now. It needs to be expressed in a bigger way. So there is that. Is there anything else? So stay tuned, because I think that the next quantum intercession is going to be guided by the model prayer, and we're going to go through the amplified version of that, and then we'll just see whatever flows with it, like from through this vessel. Whatever revelation flows through this vessel in alignment and illumination by the model prayer. So if you're interested in that, those are on Fridays. And I've been kind of juggling a lot of creative projects. And by the way, if you know any angel investors that are interested in teaming up with SeedSoilWater, I have many projects that are ready for funding, and they would definitely be in relationship with atmospheric shifting sound. And I believe that they are for the greater good, for the collective, for the shifting of these realms, and therefore I have really I'm not concerned or worried about how it's all going to come to be, because I just know that if it's in divine alignment with the way, it will indeed come to pass, and everything will be provided. So you can put all of your thought forms toward that, and we can all celebrate before we even see how it's going to work out, and be excited. So thank you, collective, for being here. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining. Make sure to subscribe, stick around. If you're interested in a topic organized journal, that's the Journey Journal. It's available on Amazon. There should be a link below. And it's organized by topic, things like dreams, visions, revelation, like songs that you want to remember, even you could scribe the lyrics, and just see there's so much power in writing things down. And it's also important in your manifestation journey to script things that are not, it says to speak things that are not as though they are. So there's also power in writing it and reading it out loud, declaring it over your life. There's another video here on my channel that says combining scripting and revision technique, I think is what it's titled. Go check out that video, because that was a really powerful revelation that came, where with the idea of writing your own eulogy in third person, and then reading it out loud, declaring it over your life. There's something about it, something with the quantum, knowing that time is spherical and not linear. There are ways to rewrite the story in a way that blows my mind, and I cannot fully wrap my mind around it, because it's so beyond me. But the point is that the practice is there and the idea is there, and if it was given, then there's something to it. And there's also all sorts of science behind this. If you read Dr. Joe Dispenza's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, which, by the way, I read that out loud here on the channel. There's a whole playlist, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. You could listen to that while you do your dishes, put a headphone in and listen to that while you do your chores. And yeah. So anyway, thanks for being here, and share this video with a friend that might appreciate it or even that doesn't appreciate it. And let's get our subscribers up, and let's get our community going so that more people can hear whatever the messages are for the collective. Okay? Be blessed, be well, be free.